Good morning, everyone. This is my final year research project, estimation of the living wage for the tea plantation workers. This is my presentation outline, so let's begin with introduction. We know tea is the most popular beverage in the world after the water. Tea has been a major export commodity in Sri Lanka for more than 100 years, and it contributes to about 1% of the GDP and 11% of the export income of Sri Lanka. But these values are higher in earlier. However, Ceylon tea has a unique place in world market. In our research, we are going to consider about plantation community and their wages. And who are plantation community? The workers and their families who reside in the estate are called plantation community. Among Sri Lankans, 4.4% of people live in estate sector. The tea sector is a labor incentive industry that accommodates about 0.4 million workers. We know there are so many problems in tea sector. There's a continuous struggle for increasing the daily wages to meet their household expenses. The most recent case is demand for increased daily basic wage up to 1,000 rupees. But there's a lack of particular research about this problem and so many political arguments, but these political arguments are not considering the future of tea industry in Sri Lanka. In parallel to that, we know plantation community and as well as plantation management face so many problems. Plantation community face these kind of problems: low level of consumption, low conditions in housing, nutrition, education, and sanitary facilities, and comparatively high poverty population. Plantation management face these kind of problems: high cost of production, low land and labor productivity, and non-adaptation of new technologies. These are research questions. First one is, what is the living wage to afford a basic but decent life standard of living for a plantation household? Second one is, whether there is a wage gap between what they receive and what they require for standard life. Third one is, what is the wage based on productivity point of view? And the last one is, how feasible the bridging the gap from the management point of view. And these are research objectives. Overall objective is to estimate the living and economic wage of plantation workers. Specific objectives are to determine the living wage needs about a basic but decent life standard of living for a household. And second one is to identify the wage gap between what they receive and what they require for standard life. Third one is to determine the wage based on production economic point of view. The last one is to access the views of the management. And next we are moved to literature review, which I based for my research. Department of Census and Statistics, in every 4 years, they conduct a survey, household income and expenditure survey, and they estimate actual expenditures and income of different communities in Sri Lanka. You can see 2012 and 2016 value of what are the plantation worker income and expenditure. And also, the Research Institute has introduced a productivity-based wage system in 2017, but plantation workers and unions didn't accept that. Also, Global Wage Coalition estimate living wage of plantation communities in 2015 and 2018, but novelties of my research are we estimated that values for 2020 and also we estimate economic wage rather than estimating living wage, and also we did a comparison and also get management opinions about this problem. And you can see there are a lot of research have done to estimate the productivity and cost of production and the labor shortage problems. Next, we are moving to the conceptual framework of our research. These are conceptual framework which are used for our calculation methodology. We have considered the tea plantation community in Sri Lanka, and we obtained most of secondary data for our research, and we have also obtained primary data as well. And all the calculations done for 2020, and there are three main steps in our research. First one is calculation of the living wage. This is based on Anchor methodology 2017 model. First, we calculated cost for basic but decent standard of life of a household. This includes food cost, housing cost, non-food, non-housing cost, and provision for unexpected C. When estimating food cost, we create a model type which follows WHO guidelines, and non-food and non-housing costs include health, education, transport, communication, and other day-to-day costs in a family. And provision for unexpected C included cultural and emergency cost. This is the method we estimate gross living wage and net living wage. Rather than above, there are variables: number of workers in family, mandatory reduction, and in-kind benefits we used in to find gross living wage. This is the second step, estimation of economic wage. This is also based on previous literature, and that literature based on production theory. First, we obtain these variables to estimate marginal productivity, coefficient, output, labor use, and we multiply that marginal productivity by price of relief and obtain the below formula to estimate value of the marginal productivity of a labor. Third step of our research is analyze feasibility of wage hike. In here, we use following criteria: cost of production analysis, comparison with other competitors like technology norms, labor prevalence, and cost of production, and views of the management. For this part, we use primary data sources, and using a semi-structured questionnaire, we got the opinions of management, and we use a Google form for that, and opinions taken to the Likert scale. And these are the results. First table show that key values and assumptions used for estimation of living wage. We take the family size as 4.1, and the below table shows that the mandatory reduction values. Total value of mandatory reduction is 2,800 rupees. Next slide show that the monetary values of in-kind benefits. You can see what kind of in-kind benefits they receive, and total value of in-kind benefit is 3,032.5 rupees. And these are the final and total cost per basic but decent lifestyle for a household, and this is 48,802.5 rupees. And these are summary calculation of living wage. Finally, estimated gross basic living wage for tea plantation worker per month is 24,168.95 rupees. And this is the way how we derive the value of marginal productivity formula for estimation of economic wage using these parameters, and also using these key values and assumptions. We estimate the economic wage or value of marginal productivity of a plantation worker per month is 18,077.5 rupees. The next slide show about the cost of production values, and we can summarize using this figure. In Sri Lankan tea sector spend more than 50% from the cost of production for labors and labor benefits, and continuously they spend these values. And there's a plus point. You can see from the table and also from the figure, Sri Lankan tea price has highest price among the world, and no competitors can reach our limit. The maroon color line shows that the Sri Lankan tea auction prices in the world market. I can summarize the management view like this. When considering the views of this management, they thought that with the wage hike, plantation workers can afford the basic but decent life standard of living for a household, and also this salary and benefit package can attract new workers and retain the past and current employees. And according to the view, this wage hike is not reasonable with workers' productivity, and also this wage hike will not positively affect for Sri Lankan tea sector in future. So when we got to conclusion, we estimated living wage, mean wage, and economic wage of a plantation worker. When see these values, we can conclude that there is a wage gap between living wage and mean wage, and but due to some critical reason like less knowledge, alcohol addiction, or family management, the wage gap has increased further. And also, cost of production is in Sri Lanka relatively high than other competitors, and Sri Lanka spent more than 50% on cost of production for laborers and their in-kind benefits. And also, Sri Lankan tea has a good name and a good market in world market due to its unique quality and tea plantation management, especially in Asian regions, they maintain a steady growth in terms of ethics and standard, but in African region there is some problem, labor use, child labor use, and sexual harassment. And according to management point of view, a state worker can afford a basic but decent life with this wage high, but this is not positively effect for Sri Lankan tea plantation sector. So these are the implications. This result can develop for other communities such as plantation, agriculture, and other production communities. And also, this research can be conducted in different geographical and different time frames in future. When we consider about my recommendation, tea sector should go for target for efficiency-based wage system rather than fixed system, and government should support with new technologies to the tea production sector, and also a specific education and social development plan should be introduced for estate sector. These are references I use for presentation and research. Thank you very much.